Hi guys, Jules here and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now then, where were we? Hopefully you all caught the first episode of my new series, Amigurumi Hints and Tips. If you didn't, I'll put the link down in the description. Now today we're going to start the second in the series, and this is where we get to do some assembling and some little hints and tips on how to assemble easier. Because you don't want to have done all that hard work of making all your amigurumi pieces and then sew it together wrong. So here we are. You've got all your bits where we're going to start. So first of all, what I always do is flatten the legs or the arms or whatever they are that we've done, and I stitch the item flat like that, and then leave a tail for sewing. So there's that one, and there's that one, look, and there's the legs for this one. Okay, so it's so much easier to be able to stitch your legs or your arms or whatever onto the piece of work if you've done that. Now then, number two, what needles? Now I've got quite a plethora of needles here, look. Now you might think, good Lord, they're a bit long. That's not just a normal bodkin. These are called doll needles, and you'll see why we need doll needles in a minute. I use all these, except for those. I don't use plastic ones. They're for the kiddies. I mean, you don't want the kiddies to be using these, so if they want to do a little bit of crocheting, because it's good to encourage kiddies to do these crafts. They're dying out amongst the young ones, so it would be lovely to try and encourage a few young people to get back into these crafts again. But if you notice that they've all got different thickness of eye, I'll move these out of the way, then my camera's not trying to focus. All got different eyes. Some of them have got huge eyes. Look at this one. So obviously, and this is a little tiny one, look, depends on the yarn you're using. So if you're stitching together Jolly the Giraffe, for instance, you're not going to get very far with a needle like this, are you? So this is when these big needles come in handy, because you can get the thick wool through it and go through the work very easily. Also, you see, I've got plastic ones so that the kiddies could have a go. Got two sizes of plastic ones. You can get loads of different plastic ones, and then there's the big ones. You get these in my kits. You get these in the little 4-ply kits, and you get these in the chunky and the double knit kits. Now you get these in the double knit kits. And then if you do buy the kit for a kiddie, you can request a plastic one. Okay. Now then, what else do we need? For this, for instance, you'd need a 4-ply needle to be able to thread, so I would use one of these. Okay, now I'm going to go for the longer one because, oops, my little dog is going to have a little bark. She'll shush in a minute, someone's walking past the front. These are excellent. They're called doll needles because you use them for sculpting. Now if you can see, this dolly's face is sculpted, and what you've had to do, you've had to go, when you were stitching the nose on, you had to go through them before it was stitched to the neck and pull the yarn down and make the cheeks puff out, look. And that's why you call them doll needles, because they're to sculpt the doll's faces and things like that. For the people that have seen my other videos, they know that I like to use a javelin. So there's the needles. Which needles? So you use whichever needle you need for whichever yarn you're using, and for whatever you're doing. You'll need a longer one if you're doing a face. Okay, so match the stitches up using your posts. So if you're doing a head to a body, like this, look, where's my needle? This is what we're aiming to stitch into. See these posts here? These are the anchors you're going to use to stitch your toy to the head. And again here, look. Okay? Now most patterns, when they've finished decreasing, they've got the same amount of stitches on the top of the body as there is on the bottom of the head. So basically then it's just straightforward to match that one with, say, that one, and then you go up and you match that one with that one. So there's no need to fasten them together, because if you've got the same amount of stitches at the top and the same amount of stitches at the bottom, and just do what I've done, look, you put it somewhere and you support the head, and then you hold the body above it, and you just keep fetching that down to that one. And there's another tip. If you've got your thread threaded like this, and you go in with your point, you're at risk of picking up the bits of other stitches and not going in cleanly. So what I do a lot of the time, I go in with my tail end like that, look. No, we don't want you, Mr. Purple Tail. We'll have you out, I think. And then you see, you just come down here into one of those. See? Back up to the top into one of those. And then back down the bottom into one of those. Like that. And that's how you'd go all the way around. Now, if you're using a pattern that's not got the same amount of stitches on this as there is on the head, sometimes you may have to do two stitches together, like that, look. So you'd have to check that. Now, another way, you can use markers if you want and fasten them together. So you can, if you've got 14 stitches here, you can count 7 like that, and then say you've got 10 this way, you can go on to your 10th like that, and then you know that you've got to get rid of another 2 stitches here and get rid of another 2 stitches here. Okay, but as usual, I hate these things, but if you find them easier, you go ahead and use them. So that's how you would stitch the head to a body, like that, look. Okay, and like I say, I use this blunt end so that I don't get all my needle all stuck. So that's how you would stitch a head to a body using the posts. Now then, how do we do the limbs? I always like to mark where the limbs are going to go with a piece of yarn. Your needle. And what I do, say you've got to, the pattern tells you you've got to do it in this row here, and you need it to be level with the ear. Okay, so you come all the way down here, all the way down here, all the way down here, and then it probably tells you you've got to go over 4 stitches. Okay, so you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches and pull your marker through. So there's where your first leg needs to go. Then you'd flip it over and you'd follow down again from your ear halfway down the body and make sure you're in the same row. Then you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and put your second marker. There you are. So now you see, you know exactly. Now if you do that, look, can you see you're straight? If you do that, you can see that's not right. Do you see that? So that one's wrong. So you come back out again and you go down again. Make sure you're in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not in the right one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And put your marker in again. And again you can do that. Now they're dead on, look. Okay, so that's how you would position your legs. You do the same for your arms. The arms go into this row here, just under the collar. And again, you go halfway along the body, level with the legs. And you'd put your piece of thread through again. Okay, and then do the same again. Level with the legs, halfway along the body, over 4, I want to come through. There we go. So now you've got all your markers in for positioning, so you can't get your limbs in the wrong place. And this is how you do the ears as well, and the nose and everything. That's how I mark all my limbs, by doing that. Okay, so that's marking all your limbs. Number 5, use extra stuffing in the neck for your last 3 stitches. So imagine you've gone all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, and you're down to about a little bit here. Now if you can see, you've got quite a dip there, and if you don't put a little bit of extra stuffing in, your head's not going to go right. You're going to have a floppy neck. So when you get to this last little bit, stuff some more stuffing in like that, so that you've got a nice firm neck. Okay, and then when you're finished, these long needles are handy for something else as well. If you think you've got too much stuffing up there and not enough stuffing at this side of the neck, you just pull some down like that. Okay, that would be the same with this one as well. You just pull some down like that. And finally, number 6, secure your end and then bury in your work. So how you would do it, just imagine we've gone all the way around. I'm not going to bore you all with doing this all the way around. Just imagine that you've got to the end, you've gone all the way around the neck and you've got to the end. So what you need to do then, you need to just secure your yarn through a few of the V's like that, look. And then bury it in the head, and then that would be a perfect closure. So thanks for coming by. I hope they were a bit helpful to you. We've had a look at how we do the legs by stitching the ends flat. We've looked at all the different kinds of needles. Shown you how to sew a head to a body by matching up the posts. We've shown you how to do markers to position the limbs. Popping extra stuffing in the neck to support the neck, and then how to secure your work and bury your ends. Now we're going to be going on to the more advanced hints and tips soon. I think probably in series in number 3. Number 1 and number 2 were quite basic, but we've stitched it together now. So that's stitched together. So I think number 3, we're probably going to start looking at how to do eyes, either putting the plastic ones in or to do embroidered ones and embroider the features, the faces and things like that. And probably how to do the articulated legs. I'll tell you what, I'll go with these dollies. My art dollies have all got articulated arms and legs. And these all move, look. And the reason I like these articulated arms and legs is because, excuse the bags, they're just to protect the feet. They sit, you can sit your dollies. This one's a beautiful one, she's gorgeous. So we'll have a look, and she's got articulated arms as well, look. Also at the end of these arms and legs, and there is a how-to video to show you how to do it. We've used the closed hole method to make sure that the limb was closed and neat. Same as on the back of the giraffe as well. Use that a lot in amigurumi. And the closed hole method is in my how to crochet video. So if you go to the playlist how to crochet, you'll find it in there. So you sit there, little flower girl. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go and subscribe. It does help my channel to grow, and I'm so pleased when people subscribe. And also leave a few hints and leave a few comments for me in the comments. See if you've got any hints and tips that I can share to other people on my channel. And I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon for number 3. Bye.